voter ID was an issue on which the traditions of the Senate and everybody getting along were put to the side, and a vote was taken to overrule the traditional 2/3 required. Yes. And so my question to you is, if you're so convinced that people come together in the Senate the majority of the time, why not, on an issue like voter ID, allow the traditions of the Senate to persist? Why veer from it?
Here's the reason. Yeah. Because I was getting ready to say at the end of that, my long statement, I apologize for that, was that 80 to 85% of the time we agree and work together really well. But there's that 10 or 15% of the time we disagree. There is a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. Different views. I respect their views. And they respect our views. And in those areas you draw the line, you fight in the sand. I believe that if you're the majority, which we are in Texas as Republicans, that you should rule to represent the people who sent you here. The majority of Texas have decided on a Republican governor, lieutenant governor, go down the line, majority House, which I think will add 5-6 seats this session, and Senate. I don't like what the Democrats are doing in Washington, but they are exercising their power. The Republicans have not exercised their power, and not doing so in the past, in a way I think they should have done with the numbers, is one of the reasons they got in trouble in Washington, D.C. They didn't get the job done that the people expected them to do. Once you take power, people expect you to deliver. Again, I don't agree with Barack Obama on any issue except charter schools, but he is trying to deliver. He's using his might. Right. I didn't agree with Ted Kennedy on any issue, but he was passionate about what he believed in. We need more conservatives and more Republicans. So when you say, why did we change the rules? First of all, it's an arbitrary rule. 21 votes, we need a supermajority of 2/3 to bring a bill to the floor. There are only 19 Republicans. So that means on every bill we bring to the floor, we have to get 2 Democrats.
Unless you go ahead and elect 2 more Republicans.
And that's not going to happen in the near future, I don't think. Maybe 1 seat changes. My point is, if there's something the people of Texas want us to pass as the majority party, if we're going to stick to it takes 21 votes and we only have 19, because I would turn this around when you say, well, why don't you let this work? The Democrats drew the line in the sand. I don't argue with them in doing it. They drew the line in the sand. We're staying together as 11 votes to block. So if we're going to pass voter ID, we lowered it, and we had that right and that power. I believe, as you know, in the first session, my first day, I argued to change the rules. I believe that it should not take 21 votes. I believe it should take 18 votes, which is about 60%, the U.S. Senate, the magic 60. I think we should require 18 votes to pass legislation. I think the hurdle is too high for the Democrats today because only 12 members, I mean, if they only had to get 6 more Republicans, they could pass more legislation. And Republicans then could pass the bills that the people want them to pass. And I would say that even if Democrats were in charge, if the Democrats one day become the majority party again in Texas, and they probably will one day, hopefully not for a decade or so, but if they become the majority party again, and they have the majority of senators, I would expect them to represent the majority of people of Texas.